Our presentation will focus on the sign located at the intersection in Scotiabank Hall, just outside of Fishbowl. The sign can be classified as a static visual display. The environment which the sign interacts with is a high traffic area. This does not allow students time to stop and read the sign. In order for the system to be effective, the sign must be noticeable and legible from a distance. This would allow users to process the information presented on the sign and make an accurate decision. However, this is not the case. Most often, the sign goes unnoticed due to its high positioning and lack of conspicuity, which leaves users confused when they reach the decision-making point. This does not only pose an issue to the user trying to navigate through the campus and ends up taking a wrong turn, but also leaves the intersection congested as users stop to read the sign. Our redesign will focus on changing the sign rather than trying to modify its environment in order to help users navigate efficiently through campus.
The sign is hung in a position that makes it hard to notice and difficult to read. It is located quite high up, with there being almost no space between the ceiling and the top of the sign. The contrast between the sign and the background color of the ceiling is quite poor, as the sign and background are almost the same color. The hallway the sign is found in is on an angle, so users must alter their visual angle as they travel towards the sign. The optimal visual angle is 10 to 15 degrees below the horizontal. As the user travels down the hallway, the sign is located more and more above the horizontal and therefore further and further away from the optimal viewing angle. Unless the user tilts their head as they approach the sign, it does not even appear in the visual field. The lighting in the hall is located off to the side and directed downwards towards the floor. This leaves the sign with poor lighting and appearing to be in a shadow. Additionally, the hallway the sign is located in is quite busy, particularly during peak hours. The user must now also worry about not impeding traffic as they attempt to read the sign and navigate the hallway. The task associated with the static display is being able to successfully locate one of the destinations on the sign. This can be broken down into 3 parts: ability to read the sign, ability to interpret and understand the directions, and ability to follow the directions to the location, all while continuing to walk. Reading the sign may prove difficult due to the poor legibility and conspicuity of the sign. This may result in the user having to stop walking and block the hallway to read the sign, or they may attempt to guess their way to their destination. The user then has to interpret and understand the directions. The sign may prove difficult to some users for this task if the pictograph displayed is not comprehensible to them. For example, the people with the arrows above their head may not be immediately clear to all users as a pictograph for elevators. This could lead users to walking past their destination. The individual now must follow the directions to their destination. It is relatively simple to follow the directions into Scotiabank Hall, but the poor functioning of the sign yields many errors when locating the actual destination. Users must also possess the necessary motor skills to navigate the pathway indicated by the sign. This includes being able to navigate busy hallways, accommodate for the incline of the hall in their gait pattern, match the cade and fixation eye movements to their gait pattern, and possess the necessary vision requirements to read the sign from a distance.
In order for the system to be successful, it must be designed to aid individuals in their decision-making process. When a sign has insufficient cues and information, users become confused and unable to successfully locate their destination point. This static display system uses pictographs that appear to be universally familiar, yet this familiarity will differ between individuals. This is relevant when it comes to the vast number of international students that attend Brock University. These students may not recognize or comprehend the pictographs due to cultural differences, which could potentially lead them to an undesired location. Another potential limitation could be due to the small font size used to label the destination points. As a result of the size, the viewing distance that a user is physically able to receive and distinguish information may be delayed until the user reaches a point in which they can process the information displayed. This results in less time to interpret and comprehend the sign, and therefore the user may have to stop to allow more time to read it, or will possibly choose an incorrect destination. In addition, the lack of conspicuity of the sign in its surrounding environment increases the user's visual search time. If the user is under time constraints to get to a specific endpoint, this may lead them to walk past the sign unknowingly. A user who has developed myopia may face an even longer search and detection time, in which the processing of information of the static system will be delayed. In relation to cognition, this system requires less of a memory load and cognitive demand due to the limited information given by the sign. By providing limited information, both visual clutter and information overload have been avoided. While there are benefits to this, there are also limitations, such as not providing the user with enough information to guide them to their desired location.
The two main human factors issues with the sign are legibility and conspicuity, resulting in the sign not being effective at delivering information to the user. Legibility includes aspects of readability. The poor luminance of the sign contributes to reduced readability. The lighting is located off to the side against the wall and illuminates downwards towards the floor, resulting in the sign not being placed in direct lighting and appearing in a shadow. This shadow results in the white of the sign appearing gray, reducing the contrast of the sign to black on gray instead of black on white. The height to width ratio of the wording on the sign is too small to accurately read while walking down the hallway at a normal speed, particularly when the hallway is busy. When you are approximately 10 feet from the sign, it becomes much easier to read. However, this leaves little time to fully gather the information you need to read the sign and plan a response. This sign does not clearly identify the location of the elevator, stairs, and washroom, as the pictographs appear on the same line as the computer commons. Individuals may assume that these destinations are located within the computer commons. The conspicuity of the sign is poor. It does not efficiently capture the attention of individuals. The pale colors of the sign, combined with the shadow and similar background color, make it hard to notice in a busy hallway. Furthermore, the washroom and stairs pictographs on the sign are redundant, with the same pictographs to the immediate left. In addition, the first line, Scotiabank Hall, is also a redundancy that can be positive affirmation of directions for users.
As previously mentioned, the most practical solution would be to redesign the sign to suit the environment and not the other way around. This is what the sign looked like in the environment before, and this is what it would look like after. To increase the distance legibility of the sign, the height to width ratio of the letters on the sign should be increased. This will ensure individuals have enough time to read and interpret the information being processed and to make the correct directional decision. Since the hallway is relatively busy, having an adequate amount of time to interpret the sign is important in order to successfully maneuver around people and to get to your destination. It is important to have enough time to read the sign without slowing down the walking pace or stopping completely, as this would impede the flow of traffic. To fix the issue of poor conspicuity, the background of the sign could be changed to yellow with black font. The yellow background of the sign will help the display stand out against the white ceiling and walls, while still maintaining a high contrast for the lettering. The black on yellow color combination also provides high levels of contrast to improve legibility and visibility. The arrangement of dark colors on a light background is called positive polarity, and is associated with lower error rates and response times in letter identification. Faster transcription of displayed letters, faster reading and proofreading performance, better word, non-word discrimination, increased visual acuity, and higher visual comfort. The yellow will also act as an attention-grabbing cue. This allows individuals to notice the sign much earlier, giving them more time to read the sign. The arrow blocks that are currently yellow on the sign could be changed to blue since it reflects light, which aids in attracting visual focus. While red also reflects light, it would be a poor choice as it is difficult to see in the dark or in the shadow that the sign is positioned in. The use of reflective colors on the sign will help increase visibility due to the low illumination in the environment.
The increased conspicuity draws user attention. The improved legibility allows users to read the sign from a further distance, as well as make fewer errors while reading the sign. And the positive polarity increases visual acuity, perception of fine details, and sharpness of the retinal image. The navigational function of the sign has improved, which allows users to make fewer errors while reading the sign and to do so without impeding the flow of traffic in the busy hallway.